I said, this is our first Jewish president. No, he's the first Jewish president to serve two not consecutive presidencies. We thank you for everything.
That's right. Bad things happened on the second one. Namely, the election was rigged. And we found out, and you see that happening. But
And you are the greatest president.
thank you very much.
And God bless you. I miss you. I miss you.
Something ain't right.
And I said, this is.
Panic in DC. DC in panic again. And so am I. And Mark Levin doesn't seem to be in panic. No, he doesn't. If you saw that cold opening, God, no. Let's get down to it. Welcome, everybody, to Real Deal Media's #1 late night shadow band show, World at War. I'm Dean Ryan. And tonight is a panicky type of show, especially after last night's episode. In case you missed it, well, I misplaced my glasses for one. That's the kind of news cycle we're in right now. And to the point where I was zapped literally last night in the middle of the show, in the midst of it as well, right before we went to break. And I could not do a damn thing. Everything was frozen and I don't know what happened. I still don't know what happened. And I'm afraid to ask because I've been going through this habitual calamity nonstop now for quite some time. But so is DC. And we're going to talk about that here tonight. Jim Fetzer will be joining us to get into a lot of movement happening. And so much that my head is spinning faster than Linda Blair on a very witchy Saturday night because we have people leaving the White House. Another one bites dust once again. We have the announcement of the Epstein files that are about to drop. And we also have some major movement in Venezuela. And the Candace Owens, Erica Kirk debacle is now seemingly coming to, well, a close. What is it all about? Except for it is DC in panic. Once again, there it is. And here are my specs and my bifocals. Okay, that's how that one goes. Okay, we are broadcasting live on the Real Dean Ryan over there on the Travel Channel on Facebook. Hello, everybody. As well as Dean Ryan TV over there on YouTube, as well as Rumble. And thank you, everybody, for doing your due diligence, trying to find where I am, because I'm doing the same thing. This is full on horror. Oh, I tell you that much. Okay, so let's get started with some headlines from around the world and in your neck of the woods. We got a long way to go and a short time to get there. And let's get started, shall we? Well, the world is reeling in from just a devastating 24 hours to 48 hours news cycle of mass murder, allegedly, mass, or I should say, very impromptu stabbings in the Los Angeles basin, firings, file dumps, and facade-like truces between two women who are at odds with each other for quite some time now, and we just don't even know where to start and where to begin. No, we don't. But in this case, let's start with what we know, and that is, well, yesterday, Rob Reiner died, and now gruesome details are coming out, and some people even told me, Dean, this is another show, another distraction. Oh, really? It's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow, but I'm willing to do it. Well, let's now talk about what this is now, as gruesome details are now being released, or as some say, killer details in the Rob Reiner murder. Rob Reiner, a very connected man on many, many, many fronts, and you'll find out why. Well, yes, associates now are releasing details of the events before and after the killings were discovered. A person who's close to the family in the matter provided a detailed account of what occurred in the Reiner household after a massage therapist received no response at the gate. That is true. Well, here's what we're talking about. The daughter of Rob Reiner, Miss Romy Reiner, and Michelle Singer Reiner found their father's body on a Sunday afternoon after being alerted by the massage therapist, who had been unable to reach the couple before a scheduled appointment to see their father. See, this just gets worse and worse, just like the lighting in many cases. Continuing, well, now a person who's also close to the Reiner family provided one of the first detailed descriptions of the tragedy, sharing that the son, Nick Reiner, was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in their stabbing death. So they knew before anyone else did. So they're saying, yeah, the massage therapist arrived at the white-gated affluent enclave over there in Brentwood, where you'd be surprised how many very well-known people live there. And let's just say I've been on a few occasions. Well, they're saying that now the LA District Attorney was asked whether anything was known about Nick Reiner and the mental health issues. He said any information on the subject would be taken up in court. Well, clearly they didn't ask the Australian government to see if he went to the Philippines to get motivated by Islamic ideology. I mean, that's got to be the first thing you do in these cases, is it not? Well, now Nick Reiner, who's now formally charged with murdering his parents, this is very eerily resembling in some distant case of the Menendez murders, but also a lot of people have said the O.J. Simpson murders. Oh, really? Well, when asked by a reporter if the Reiners died Saturday or Sunday, well, the Chief Jim McDonald said the coroner was still trying to determine the exact time of death. We don't have a timeline, and so nobody seems to know anything. This is becoming a very botched kind of nice slice of Swiss cheese, if you know what I'm saying. It is very weird, very weird. But look at this. I want to show you this. You know, I showed you a video yesterday of Nick Reiner with his father, Rob, in an interview where the guy looked like he had some deranged mental violence swarming in his head. Well, I want to show you this next clip here. It's with Rob Reiner and an alleged comedian. And listen towards the end of it, and you can hear what the son is saying. And this should creep you out, because it sure did me. Check this out. This is quite something.
See, as a baby, Rob was routinely beaten by his father, Carl. On a typical night, Carl would slip into Rob's bed, roll him over, swab him down, and say something like, "I'm thinking about hiring Maury Amsterdam to play Buddy Sorrell. What do you think?" Well, the success of the Dick Van Dyke Show changed things dramatically. Carl started inviting many of his famous friends to son.
All right, there you go. I told you. I told you. I told you. This is exactly what was going on in the Tom Hanks household. This is just like the Menendez brothers. And now it's coming out. Now, in retrospect, we see the true motives and we see the program to kill the true assailant here. It's all coming out here. Well, now let's continue on here as our feature story is now just upon us. As now, DC in panic again. Yes, there's many, many good reasons to be so. Well, in this case, Epstein and the files that we've been hearing about for, feels like since I was in grade school now. Well, now leaked Epstein files, talking points to how to instruct Republicans how to point blame away from Trump. Did you know about this? Did you receive the talking point pamphlet? Did you receive any of this in your email? Well, now let me tell you about this. Now, a leaked memo and a memo that circulated through the Congress Tuesday details talking points for Republicans who are expected to use these talking points when talking about the Epstein files as a way to protect Donald Trump, conveying an image of a party resigned to the fact that those files will indeed be published on Friday. Well, and their leader will be implicated in one of the most extensive international sex trafficking operations in recent history, I'd say so. Now, let me tell you about the memo, because this memo, first published by Fox News, you may recall, outlines how congressional Republicans should direct any discussion surrounding the contents of the Epstein files in any which way, and outlined a list of accusations to allege against journalists and Democrat lawmakers. Now, in essence, the memo gives a step-by-step instruction on how to utilize the psychological manipulation tactic known as DARVO. You know what DARVO is? It stands for, it's an acronym that means deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender, in order to brush aside any alleged wrongdoing by the president, while villainizing his opposition and framing Trump as the victim. Now, Democrats have now demonstrated a sustained pattern of misconduct, the memo reads. Just to give you a spoiler alert now, to, quote, fabricate yet another politically motivated hoax targeting Donald Trump. Now, as a result, nothing Democrats post or leak on this matter can be taken as face value. Equally troubling, much of the legacy media has uncritically amplified these falsehoods by acting as a willing conduit rather than performing basic due diligence. And this is all in the talking points, by the way, what I'm sharing with you. And it's very eloquent. Now, missing from the document are any of the points that refute accuracy or legitimacy of the actual contents of the Epstein files, or any calls for accountability for the alleged co-conspirators. However, instead, Republicans have been marching orders. Well, they've been given marching orders to endlessly litigate to the press of how the information has been released and then attack the press for not sugarcoating the contents of the file. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the classic blame game playbook. It's a very controversial, but a winning playbook for many. Now, Republicans have chosen 3 Democrats to attack in the phase of the Epstein scandal. Here it goes. Listen to this. U.S. Representative Stacey Plaskett, Yasmin Ansari, and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Now, while none of them enjoyed decades-long friendship and business relationships with Epstein, as Trump might have, well, the memo directs Republicans to redirect any questions surrounding Trump's extensive background with Epstein into a criticism of the trio's limited interactions. Wow. Well, let's talk about this, because this is going to be, as they said, one of the most modern, the greatest indication of a sex trafficking guilt from any president in modern history. Well, let's bring one of our own political historians here ourselves to give his comment and view on this, because maybe Jim Fetzer got the playbook and maybe he has talking points, or maybe he knows how to dissect it all. Let's welcome to the stage the one, the only, legendary Jim Fetzer. Jim, welcome to World at War.
Well, Dean, you played that Al Franken thing with Rob Reiner, and I had just read an article about this, and there's no possible way Franken could have given something. It goes on to talk about Carl Reiner bringing over his famous friends to F his son without Rob having initiated it. Al Franken wouldn't have known that. It's so tasteless, you wouldn't ever put it out. This was Rob Reiner wanting to expose his father, Carl, using this occasion of a roast as a vehicle, Dean. There's no other way to explain it. And it's horrific. It is horrific. And the question, the article that I was reading was suggesting, could Rob have replicated this with his son, who winds up killing him by breaking into the house and slitting his throat in the middle of the night? That's a story I've got, Dean. I mean, this is just stunning stuff. Stunning.
Jim, I'll tell you, the first thing that came to mind was Menendez brothers when I heard about this, because what you just described and what Al Franken, the disgraced former congressman from Minnesota, what he tried to accomplish. Jim, this type of behavior, this type of practice in Hollywood has happened for a long time. Tom Hanks has pimped out his children, Nicole Kidman. I hear this time and time again. You have Will Smith, who has, had some kind of adult relationship with what many in the business, by the way, say Will Smith and Jada. They're not even their children. And I'm thinking, geez, I mean, so it seems to be a ritualistic kind of thing in Hollywood with many clandestine families. And certainly the case with Rob Reiner. Jim, I want to, speaking of the salaciousness of it all, how sweating of a nervous sweat are the Republicans right now, to the fact where they have to release a playbook of how to misdirect attention towards them when the Epstein files. I mean, we've never seen such a thing before. Even when the Starr report came out, I don't even recall any of this kind of strategery happening back then.
Dean, all of this is so sordid and getting so deep in the government. It's nauseating. Frankly, it's nauseating. It's like Hollywood comes to the District of Columbia. I'm appalled by all of this. The deeper you get into the Epstein thing, the worse it becomes. Trump can't find a way out of it. They may try to direct attention to the Democrats, but frankly, it ain't going to work. And, I'm just sick at heart that people I've admired in the past. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Nicole. You mentioned Nicole Kidman and Tom Hanks. Well, I've certainly liked them both as actors. But Donald Trump, I voted for the guy 3 times. And he turns out, it appears to be a pervert. You read Katie Johnson's story. When she was 13, this was her first encounter with Donald Trump. He liked her in a blonde wig. He said, according to Katie's testimony, he liked it because she reminded him of his own daughter, who was also 13. Now think about that, because that implies that Donald liked the idea of having sex with a little girl who reminded him of his own daughter. And you wonder, my wife has said to me forever, she was convinced that Donald had sex with Ivanka. This is just repulsive beyond words. Repulsive beyond words.
Now, Jim, the Democrats have demonstrated a sustained pattern of misconduct. Don't you think that's what this is really about? To fabricate yet another politically motivated hoax. I mean, let's step back, Jim.
To try to blame this on Democrats is just silly. He and Epstein,
Jim, you're sounding like a left. The lunatic left is going to eat this up all day long, Jim. Maybe you should think about this.
He and Jeffrey were best friends for either 10 or 15 years, depending on the telling. Epstein says 10. Trump has even said 15. And they did everything together, Dean. And when I say they did everything together, I mean including sex with underage girls. I don't have any doubt about it. I mean, I'm immersed in this stuff, and it's so grotesque. You can't believe this is what's become of the American public government today. It's stunning, Dean. Stunning.
But Jim, the legacy media has uncritically amplified these falsehoods, acting as a willing conduit rather than a performing basic due diligence. Don't you think?
Oh, the media.
Okay. So Jim, these are some of the talking points that I'm rehearsing that the GOP is going to be using. And
it's not going to work. The
Jim,
public
these are weak.
We have seen through it. And even
Yeah, we've
just,
seen through it.
just take the birthday card Trump wants to deny he sent to Jeffrey, where his signature is like the pubic hair on the outline of the naked woman. I mean, you
Oh.
know.
Oh, well,
Give us a
yeah, that we
And he
should save
talks
that one
about
for
what special treat they're going to have next, meaning what nubile
okay.
young thing are they going to together
Well,
and have sex with? It's repulsive. Dean, I'm
yeah, I
telling
hear you. I hear you. And let's not break out the RFK Jr. Poem, book of poems just yet, Jim. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that. Jim, stand by because we have some firings going on in the White House, and we got to get your take on it. As you know, why we're about to go to some real deal politics in a big way, and let's hope that JFK's book of poems won't meet us at the door, shall we? Every time, I tell you, it's like getting the birds and the bees talk live on television here. Well, where are we? And where was just I heading into there? Anyways, let's continue now with some real deal politics, as there's a lot to get to, as another one has really, truly bit the dust. Have you heard about this? As Miss Susie Wiles, well, she's going on a wild tour of the safari of the unemployment line. That's true. Well, there's a lot of stories coming out, and it's really hard to pick which salacious one is correct for my palate. So, but however, these are the basics, and this is what just took place today, as now President Trump's chief of staff, or as they call her on the streets, his pimp, and one of his pimps, who is the gatekeeper over there in the executive Oval Office over there. Well, she tried to get him to end his, quote, score settling, as they're calling it, is this coming out of the New York Times now, against political enemies after 90 days in the office. So the nanny, aka the chief of staff, the nanny of staff, really, has acknowledged that the administration's still ongoing push for prosecutions has been fueled in part by the president's desire for retribution. No, this is where they get it wrong. It's for my desire for retribution. And if Trump has the same desire, good on him. But we're talking about the people's desire. That's the problem with Susie Wiles. She has so many boosters and miracle jabs, it's poisoning her very Peabody brain. Well, Susie Wiles, who was told by us, RFK Jr. has told us, what was that, a week or two ago, how great she is. Well, clearly he was just being facetious now as the White House chief of staff. Told in an interview that she's now gone, as she has been told to go. However, she forged, quote, a loose agreement with Donald Trump to stop focusing after 3 months on punishing antagonists in efforts that evidently did not succeed. Oh, no. While she insisted that Mr. Trump is not constantly thinking about retribution, she also said that, quote, when there's an opportunity, he will go for it. Well, Miss Wiles made these just dastardly comments in a series of extraordinarily unguarded interviews over the first year of the Trump 2.0 term with author Chris Whipple, who's just giving us a little whipple of what's to come in the Sunday's publication, and especially the big one by Vanity Fair, which we might brush upon. Over the course of 11 interviews, a lot was said. Oh, yeah, Miss Wiles really didn't hold back. She took her gloves off, she whipped out her brassiere and started hitting people with it, as Miss Wiles offered a pungent assessment of President and his team. Well, here's a few things about what she said, and this is pretty salacious. Well, Mr. Trump, she says, quote, has an alcoholic's personality. Wow. In regards of J.D. Vance, the vice president, she said, quote, he's been a conspiracy theorist for a decade, and his conversation from Trump critic to ally was based not on principle, but was, quote, sort of political because he's running for Senate, or at least he was. In regards of Elon Musk, well, we're all a little curious about that. Is he human, alien? What's the case there? Well, she said, as far as Elon Musk is concerned, he's, quote, an avowed ketamine user and a very odd duck. Well, who knew that? Whose actions were not always rational and left her aghast. So, yeah, that's what happened. So he was irrational. He was using Special K. And it gave Susie a lot of gas, too, as we just found out there. Now, in regards to Russell T. Vaught, the budget director, she said he's, quote, a right-wing absolute zealot. And Attorney General Pam Bondi, she called, quote, completely whiffed. Whiffed, and yeah, she's whiffed. Now, Ms. Wiles described her own reservations about the certain policies in real time to Mr. Whipple. From Miss Whiff to Mr. Whipple, she said, the author of well-regarded books, as you might have read them, and probably not. Well, she said she urged Trump not to pardon the most violent rioters from January 6th, the greatest day for the FBI's achievements, she said, which he did anyway. She unsuccessfully tried to get him to delay his major tariffs because of his, quote, huge disagreement amongst his advisors. And she also said that the administration needed to look harder at deportations to prevent mistakes. But she did not complain about being overruled at various points. She even got, quote, on board with many eventual decisions that we know about as of today. Now, there's been a couple of times where I've been outvoted. Miss Wiles and Whipples and Whiffle said there. She said, after there's a tie, he wins all the time. Now, the off-script comments felt very reminiscent of a similar episode in the President Ronald Reagan's first term with his budget director back then, David A. Stockman. Likewise, gave a series of interviews, you might recall, back in the 80s to the Atlantic Monthly. And God, who can forget that? What a publication that was. Well, Mr. Stockman, he kept his interviews, and it's very reminiscent and very trivial at the same time. Well, she kind of concluded on this, as we're about to do so ourselves. Well, she said the president's Trump's fixation on payback against his enemies offers a case study. Wiles confided in this interview that she had told Mr. Trump that his presidency was not supposed to be a retribution tour. She went on further to say, quote, we have a loose agreement that score settling will end before the first 90 days are over. When that did not happen by August, she told the interviewer there, Mr. Whipple, that she was pretty miffed and whiffed, that she said, quote, I don't think he's on a retribution tour, but said that he was aiming at people who did, quote, bad things and coming after him. In some cases, it may look like retribution, and then there may be an element of that from time to time. Who would blame him? Not me. Now, among the many targets she acknowledged was Letita James there. Letita James, who makes me gag every time I have to think about her. The New York Attorney General, yes, who won the civil court verdict against Mr. Trump for business fraud and penalty in nearly $500 million. Well, that might not be one retribution, she says. Did she, when asked if she advised Trump to back off Letita James, she replied, no, not on her. She had $500 million of his money. Now, as for James B. Comey, yes, Mr. Too Tall, stretch. Well, this is interesting. Well, the FBI director who was fired by Mr. Trump, if you recall, from Trump 1.0, while leading an investigation into the Russian interference, era of the 2016 election, well, Ms. Wiles said the following, quote, I mean, people could think it does look vindictive. Like, I can't tell you why you wouldn't think that. I don't think he wakes up thinking about retribution, but when there's an opportunity, he will go for it. Now, interesting. Now, the Trump administration has brought indictments against Miss James and Mr. Comey, but both were dismissed by the federal judge, as you recall. And this is now just all coming out. Okay, let's talk about, well, here's one more thing, because I'm very interested in this. What about the Clintons, right? We heard about they're going to be arrested. What about that? Well, Ms. Wiles went on to say, going back years, that Mr. Clinton had visited Epstein Island many times, although there is no evidence of that, she said. She goes, she's heard about it. Asked if there was anything incriminating about Mr. Clinton in the files, as Mr. Trump has suggested, she said, quote, the president was wrong about that. She added that the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanchet, might know more. And further on, went to say that the president was ticked about the transfer of Ghislaine Maxwell to a minimum security prison camp. altogether. So his pardoning allegedly, or potential pardon of Ghislaine Maxwell was what they call disinfo. But however, she did describe her in just continuous frustration with Elon Musk, the billionaire who earlier in the year, as you recall, with Doge, was empowered to eviscerate federal agencies, fire employees en masse. She did say he's an odd duck, as I think he's a genius, but he's weird. He's weird. Okay, to talk about this incredible, wow, what an incredible day of firings. Someone who's followed Miss Wiles' career for quite some time, Jim Fetzer, our RDM political analyst. Jim, where do we begin there? I mean, she just really didn't hold back, did she?
Oh yeah, when I'm free.
Oh, he's talking.
Dean, this is absolutely extraordinary that the chief of staff, who's the keeper of she's the guardian of the gate, she's the keeper of the secrets, should come forward like this is just astonishing. I'm dumbfounded. It may mean she's going to have an abbreviated term of office. But I tell you, this is fascinating. I hadn't run across this, Dean. It's the first time learning of it, and I'm utterly in awe that she would be so candid. She had a reputation of being a fervent Zionist, so I figured she was one of those who was keeping Trump on the Israeli bandwagon wholehearted. Not that he really needed all that assistance, but that she'd certainly protect him from any anti-Zionist comments. You know, the influence of people like Tucker or Candace or Nick. I mean, I'm telling you, there's a lot of truth tellers out there that I would figure Wiles would keep way away from the Donald. But this stuff about retaliation and her invasion.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that. Retribution. She was very against retribution. And Jim, there has to be some kind of mental divide going on between the bureaucratic DC Beltway by just saying it's Trump that wants retribution when it really is the average, ordinary Americans that really want that. Isn't that the miscalculation?
Well, I think a lot of us don't like the happy horse shit that came from the DOJ and the FBI, Russiagate, how total fraudulent. And Letitia James and these other actors down in Georgia and all that, that attorney who was having sex with her investigator. I mean, it's all bad stuff. Trump didn't deserve any of that. Where the Jean Carroll thing was a perfect example. She couldn't even remember the year this offense is supposed to have taken in a major department store in New York City. She can't even remember the year. Well, if she can't even remember the year, how can they prosecute her when Trump wouldn't even know how to put together an alibi? He has no idea when this took place. That should not have been allowed to be prosecuted. It should never have been allowed in court. It was absurd. And he was confronted with one after another. All those lawsuits were horseshit. Every one of them. Just total fabrication made up by these nasty Democrats. I think they deserve punishment. Whether Trump is the instrument to inflict it is another question.
Yeah, they deserve punishment, all right. I agree with you on that, Jim. But here's, in regards to what you said about the Zionist claim there, look at this, Jim. This just came out. I found this very interesting. Well, here it is. Miss Susie Wiles is Netanyahu's personal spy in the White House. She should be deported to Israel, out of all places. I say the glue factory. Watching all these, JEWs, I guess, the MAGA clowns. That's not me saying that, by the way. So here it is. Susie, this is a leaked memo. Susie Wiles, a key advisor and current White House chief of staff of Donald Trump, has historical ties to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, or as we know him, John J. Sullivan, and his campaigns, with Wiles' political firm having worked with Netanyahu's re-election efforts, highlighting deep connections between Trump's political circle, Israel's leadership, with Wiles often seen at high-level meetings between Trump and Netanyahu. Well, Jim, that is, what do we make of that? Are we seeing a turning of a leaf in a very high-stakes poker game of life and death? It feels that way.
I think you're seeing an astounding lack of discretion by the chief of staff. She may get sacked over this, Dean. I would not be surprised. This is unlike the Rob Reiner roast where Rob had to have asked Al Franken to deliver that message. It's inconceivable under any other circumstance. He wanted the truth out, but he wanted it out in a context where it could be treated humorously and not necessarily taken seriously, even though it's deadly serious. This is a whole different kettle of fish. This is indiscretion by the chief of staff. I won't be surprised if she's sacked, but her connection to Netanyahu, remember, it's really Bibi who's running the White House. It isn't Trump, it's Netanyahu.
Well, here's what, in fact, this just came out now. Here's J.D. Vance talking about this, making a big statement about Miss Susie Wiles, the nanny chief and staff there. This is incredible here. Check this out, Jim. We'll discuss after.
Jacob Bogage from the Washington Post. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Same to you.
Unfortunately, I have to ask a bit of an off-topic question from affordability because news events do intervene, and that is the interviews that White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles gave to Vanity Fair, in which she's quoted as referring to you as, excuse me, and again, not my words, sir, but a conspiracy theorist of a decade, and described your transformation from someone who once opposed President Trump to now his vice president as an act of political expediency. And I'd like to give you the chance to respond to that, sir.
Well, first of all, if Susie, I'll trust what you said. I haven't looked at the article. I of course have heard about it, but conspiracy theorist. Sometimes I am a conspiracy theorist, but I only believe in the conspiracy theories that are true. And by the way, Susie and I have joked in private and in public about that for a long time. For example, I believed in the crazy conspiracy theory back in 2020 that it was stupid to mask 3-year-olds at the height of the COVID pandemic, that we should actually let them develop some language skills. You know, I believed in this crazy conspiracy theory that the media and the government were covering up the fact that Joe Biden was clearly unable to do the job.
Okay, Jim, I'm going to stop it there. Clearly, he believes in little baby conspiracies. I mean, come on, that's like...
Dean, this is good. This is good. I agree. That's a famous observation. I only believe in the conspiracy theories that are true. Okay? And there are a whole lot of them out there that are true, and that many people don't realize are true, like the moon landing, like JFK, multiple assassins, like 9/11 being an Israeli op. More and more we're understanding there are a lot of big conspiracies out there. And I like it. This is breaking the ice, Dean. It's breaking the ice. Yeah.
You know what?
He's saying that about those cases is enough to open the Pandora's box. I love it. I'm thrilled with what he said. Thrilled.
Jim, had I let it kept rolling, he then continued to say he believed that Paul McCartney truly died in 1966. So I should have let it play it a little longer. I guess I didn't do that.
He didn't actually say that, did he?
No, I mean, I was hoping he did, but well, Jim, Susie's gone.
This is all to the good. This is all to the good.
I was surprised because we see a pattern of this, Jim, and I want to make this case before we go to break here, because we see a pattern every time Donald Trump seems to get close to somebody, just pats him on the back, massages. I mean, boom, they're gone. And we saw that happen in this case because RFK Jr. Released a statement about 2 weeks ago in regards of Susie being the greatest friend of the Maha movement. And it was so off-putting, Jim, that I vowed to never read a poem of his again. That's how bad it was. And so we see this continuation now. In addition to, we see Trump siding with Vladimir Putin over the EU and NATO, and NATO and the EU has now described and labeled the U.S. as a...
This is absolutely the right thing to do.
Well, they've labeled us a hostile nation now. We're now a hostile nation. And then furthermore, there's more, is now he signed an executive order to protect Qatar, whose negotiators were... There was an attempted assassination on them by Israel, and...
Who declared us a hostile nation?
Oh, okay. So here's what happened. So, and you know, there's so much going on, Jim. I don't blame you.
I agree.
There's so much happening here. So here's what happened. So the Prime Minister of Qatar tells Tucker Carlson just over the weekend that Qatar's ties with Hamas began years ago at the request of the U.S. government. He says every dollar flowing into Gaza is routed with full involvement of Israeli and Mossad greedy fingers. He basically is saying Israel is effectively bankrolling Gaza's terror networks, and Washington knows it. Yes, they do know it. Mark Rubio knows it. Pamela Bondi knows it. Dan Bombingo knows it. And to add, the close relationship this country has with Qatar, at dismay from the lower loomers and the Israeli talking points, is thicker than ever before, to the point Trump signed an executive order that protects Qatar from any outsider invaders or attacks, that we have a responsibility to protect them and defend them. And this just happened in the wake of an attempted assassination on Qatar's negotiators, just like we saw with Iran. And Trump is reportedly pissed now. So here we are again. So what happened last time we were in this place? We with the Iran bombing, where Trump went along with it, but he called them and said he's bombing the parking lots A1, A, B, and C. Well, what we saw was Idaho firefighters get mowed down indiscriminately. We saw lone gunman shootings. Then we saw the New York Times publish the birthday letter from Trump to Epstein. These are all warnings from the Mossad. Fast forward to where we are now. Well, what did we see again? The photos come out of Trump and Epstein. This is Israel blackmailing the American president and the American people into submission to back a war with Iran. Jim Fetcher, I give my time to you.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that thesis right there, Jim? Because I feel...
Yeah, I think that's right. I think
we've got him.
I think that's right.
We have there's so much. Jim, we have a break. I know. I wanted to ask you about your. Will you have time? Maybe I wanted to ask you about your conference. Can you hold over just a little bit after the break? I wanted to talk to you how the success was.
You got it.
And I want to just talk shop with you. And I have an incredible thing to. And by the way, Jim's in the new store. By the way, he's in the new winter collection. You're going to see here as you're watching World at War, the #1 late night show. And probably the #1 late night show that Susie Wiles will be watching, as she has nothing else to do now. Isn't that great? Right, Susie? Anyways, stand by. We'll be back after this quick message.
I bet your nuts have the perfect weight to them.
I think that's the whole theory of evolution, isn't it? Mm-hmm. We evolved to have like perfectly weighted nuts, and our ancestors who had, I don't know, disproportionately weighted nuts, they didn't reproduce, so their genes died.
Average human testicles each weigh about 15 to 25 grams. Wow. That's
So it's just like about an 8-ball.
That's a couple 8-ball.
A couple 8-balls.
How many grams are in an 8-ball? I think it's 8, right?
7.5, I think.
Yeah, it depends on where you. If you're getting it in Baltimore, it's probably 6 in there.
Yeah, I think that's right. This is the baby laxative. That's right. This is the baby laxative.
If you're getting it in Baltimore, it's probably 6 in there.
Yeah, I think
Six.
Hey, get away from me. Hey, what's that? Oh, God, that's cold. What's wrong with you, Jim? I'm getting ready for the winter collection. Come on, Bubbles. Bubbles, where are you? Oh, Bubbles, where are you? Oh, there you are. Oh, yeah. Come here, young lady. It's winter time. It's your favorite time of the year, Bubbles. Aren't you happy? We're going to have all your friends in town. We're going to have a lot of new toys to play with. Get over here, boy. Let's go for a little ride. Oh, we're going to do some training now. Here we go. Oh, My Little Pony. Oh, come on. Hee-haw, hee-haw, you-haw. How? Hee-hee-hoo. Well, folks, this is what we got for you here. Real Deal Media's Winter Collection 2025, and I'm so excited. Well, here's a little Keebler. Oh, there is the Fetzer Elf. Yeah, then we have Casno Shadow mugs and a little cardigan to go with it. And don't forget that wonderful Twilight Zone type of shirt. Then we have the World at War series mugs, and I sure love them, don't you? You're gonna get a little cold and frosty, put a little hoodie on, and look at these boys, they're ready to play. Or right on your t-shirt, but sure time to say goodbye, Bubbles. Say goodbye. Best deal in town, oh, isn't he just a little cutie patootie? Come on, time to go have a little chicken dinner. It's a deal, partner, put it there. The Real Deal Media's Winter 2025 collection is now here. I am excited. Oh, God. Hey, man, come on. Special shoot's over. Get off me. Oh, somebody. God, this happens every year.
Yes, that's right. It happens every year. The Real Deal Media's winter collection is going to go for a good while. As look at all these new products. We even have the very successful, very appreciative, the new Jim Fetzer Elf ornament, where you can put it on your tree, your holiday tree, your Christmas tree, or just your tree in the backyard. And it just also makes a wonderful gnome in the garden outside. Jim, you did a wonderful job.
Love it.
Wonderful job there. And what was that? Salvation Army on the weekends you were working? Okay, that's lovely. Great. Okay. And also, you don't want to miss the incredible Elvis Presley Christmas special coming this December 20th, 10 p.m. Eastern. You're going to see a lot of guests, surprise guests, special renditions, and there's even rumors, which we'll put those rumors to rest at some point, that we might even see the crooner himself, the gold record RCA recording artist, Jim Fetzer, returned to the stage there. So you don't want to miss that. Jim, how excited are you for this Christmas?
Very, very, very.
Look at you, and full support of Elvis Presley. Before you go, Jim, we have to ask you, how was your wonderful conspiratorial conference? Tell us about it.
Dean, it was fantastic. Everybody came through. I think this is my 6th annual, and I had 28 presentations, and you can find half of them already posted on my BitChute channel, Jim Fetzer. And if you just went in BitChute channel, Jim Fetzer, it should get you there. Half of them are already up. The other half be up tomorrow. Really serious stuff on JFK, on Charlie Kirk, and on Israel and a genocide. But there were just outstanding highlights all over the place, Dean. It was a wonderful event. I was really, really happy.
Oh, really? That's really good to hear. And so we'll have to see some of the replays of that. And you can catch Jim 8 days a week over there at the Revolutionary Broadcast System. And you can maybe catch him maybe Thursday, but also you might see him at the Melvis special coming this Saturday. And you can be in full costume. That's what I heard too. Okay.
Revolution Radio is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. RBM Republic Broadcasting is 5 days a week, but I'm doing a half dozen shows, so
it's hard to keep up, Jim. It's hard to
You
keep up.
too.
Anyways, thank you for being here, Jim.
My pleasure. Excellent.
Okay, there you
Nice.
have it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jim Fetzer, everybody. Okay. Well, where do we begin and where do we start? There's so much. I'm in such disarray. I really do, truly, honestly tell you that. I want to show you this clip. You know, there's a lot of talk about, as a lot of things have come out in the wash recently with the feuds going on in this alternative media, whether it's Candace Owens and the Erica Kurtz, yeah, or Tim Pool and Candace Owens. Candace seems to be the persona non grata, numero uno. And recently, and this is what I wanted to play just the other day until I got zapped. I wanted to play I'm going to get it geared up for you, but there is a woman who is a media analyst from the Air Force who has observed some things that many of us probably were observing internally, but didn't know how to articulate it correctly. But before I show you that, this is where we are now with the Erica Kirk saga and Candace Owens. And we're going to have much more on this tomorrow as the great meeting of the minds. 4.5 hours she met with one of the Erica Kirks in secret. And many people have said that now Candace actually in return received the phone call, and has now turned a leaf. I don't know how true that is, but this is what has been happening in the meanwhile.
Is there anything specific that Turning Point can do to combat anti-Semitism?
Yeah, so we're all of our college campus and high school campuses, we have these conversations. And our students understand exactly my heart and Charlie's heart and the sentiment of everything I just said. We have Shabbat dinner happening at AmFest. We have individuals in our chapters who are Jewish. We have people that are going to be having booths. We have an exhibit hall at AmFest that are Jewish, that have Jewish organizations. The only way to combat evil, just like Charlie did, is with dialogue and not being afraid to do it. If you have these things that are being said, you need to counter it with the truth. And if you don't, there's a void and a vacuum. And so even though they're a small number, they get louder and louder. So we need to do our best, which we're doing our part. We're going to continue to do our part to make sure that the truth is always heard. We'll amplify it even more. And we're going to do the best we can, but we need the whole community. We need everyone in on that.
Bob, thank you so much.
Everybody get that? We need to stop anti-Semitism. We need to do what we can to, the children are our future, treat them well, and they'll do us no wrong. I mean, this was like the read-through that people do before a live performance. I mean, what is going on here? Shabbat Shalom, Daddy's home. I mean, come on. What in the world's going on? And I won't even play the Tim Pool, just meltdown, which, by the way, it could not have happened to just a worst of a human being than him. And by chance, if you've ever seen him without the skull cap, you'll understand why he has it on. I mean, jeez. You know what I'm saying? So we see all these feuds. And I'll tell you, the rule of thumb for me is there's two rule of thumbs. You have to question people, even if whether they're on the wrong side of history or not. But people that are getting spotlighted and they're getting the level of notoriety and pushed to the front of whether it's the Drudge Report, New York Times, the average Joes just don't make it there. Just like Lady Gaga just didn't come out of nowhere, or Taylor Swift just, didn't audition one day, or someone, overheard them singing in their garage and, they catapulted to the top. These are all placements for a reason I've come to learn over the years. So that's a rule of thumb, something to measure by. The other one I've always measured is I'm not, just like the Biden years, and here we are again, similar. I'm not going to have a real conversation with a political pundit when we can't even acknowledge that Biden was wearing a rubber mask or Trump has rubber hands. And there's multitudes of different looking Trumps. I can't get past that to then just have the political football discussion of, well, tariffs versus no tariffs. Oh, his demeanor, it just, that's Fox News kind of banter that gets you, into the game, the conference. I can't live with myself, and that's the problem. And I've often wondered, how do these people get elevated? Well, in this next clip, which I just had to share with you, you're going to see a woman who has observed a lot of things. This is from the redacted news. I don't get to watch a lot of other shows quite often, but when I do, and I share them with you, there's a great purpose behind it. So have a gander at this, and we'll discuss afterwards as we find out who the true saboteurs in the independent media are and very well could be. Check this out.
Okay. That's good.
I have a question about this sentiment because I know that the online discourse is not real life, but it sort of follows, I think, where we are politically. And I feel like you might see somebody and you're like, oh, I agree with this person. I think they're making some good points on X. And then you see them say something that you think is completely pro government propaganda. And you're like, what just happened there? I was just hoodwinked. I thought you were a based person. How did that happen? Or you come together with someone that you wouldn't otherwise ideologically align with, and it's almost like the fish gets away. It gets off the hook. That feels artificial. Like we realize, like, the common ground, the things we all believe. Epstein didn't kill himself. We can start there. Most people will believe that, right? The U.S. government is guilty of war crimes, and then we can build from that. But it's like I said, it always feels like the fish that got away. We don't stay there on that common ground. Is that describing my sentiment? Something that's purposeful?
Yes, especially with people who build up their audience and then want to inject the real reason why they're there. So they will build up a narrative. Like for me, the only reason that I do what I do is to expose what the CIA has been doing in our name all over the world. I stay pretty consistent with that. But it applies to so many other different avenues. One of the latest things that I've noticed is there's an effort right now to get out ahead of Presidents Trump and DNI Gabbert's 2020 election information. And there's an entire narrative going across all platforms about this CIA guy. I know I love. Yes. Well, yeah, he just outed himself. Right. But the Bernard guy that Lara Logan had on. Right. And if you go back and look at his history and listen to his words, not the accusations, but what most people would throw out as frivolous conversations. For example, in his interview with Lara Logan, he throws out that it was Chavez that basically created black site torture prisons. And he just throws that out in the middle of the conversation. Well, for someone like me who is focused specifically on those types of things, that's absolutely not true. There's a history of the CIA doing that all over the world. Phoenix Program, Operation Condor in all of the Latin American countries. So when you see things that I call unforced errors, it underlies the credibility of the topic of which they're conversing on. And I kind of assess that as discrediting the message because the unforced errors, and he had quite a few of them actually, in the conversation tells me based on and I've read so many declassified CIA cables, so I've gotten to be an amateur at how they converse, even inside the CIA. And so it makes it difficult to believe the narrative that they're, so then you have to look at the actual narrative. What are they trying to get you to believe? That Venezuela is behind all of the world's election interference when we know that the CIA started doing that in 1948 and has never stopped. So it allows you to be able to assess information in real time if you have the background to know historical facts and then assess them with what they're actually trying to sell you on today.
We have a comment here since Redacted's turning alt-left, which...
Okay, I stopped it there. Thank you very much. Redacted News. Was her name Susie too? Did I get that wrong? Okay. Yeah, something to think about there. some of the thing about, but what you heard right there, Venezuela. A lot of talk about that and the connection to the election fraud. And look, hey, maybe there's something more there. And I'm the kind of guy that always leaves room for cream when I have my coffee, because sometimes you cannot rely on, well, a coffee could be burned, it could be terrible. And, that analogy really, truly can be spread throughout. Now, here's something to be known as we shared with our Real Deal Media members over the weekend. Look what I found here in this next clip, and maybe this will give you a greater and clearer perspective of why Venezuela and why now, where the Israelis are clearly saying, well, why not? Just incredible how they do. Watch this as the former me tells you and puts it all into perspective. Here it is. Thus, Venezuela, which previously maintained warm relations with Israel and even purchased security technologies, mistake, became a center of hostility, propaganda toward Zionism and the Jewish state. As if we need any more reasons. Yeah, so do you get the big idea here? Okay, let me bring that back up before Bruce Springsteen there takes the floor there. And let me just rewind it. Read the concept here, and I'll add a bit more hyperbole of the color form. Okay, here it is. So this is what was going on. If you veer to the left there, Venezuela has become one of the most hostile countries to Zionism in the Latin American field. So when they took out Chavez, the CIA took him out. They gave him a cancer shot, and they did the same thing to the former president of Argentina from about a decade ago. How did Hugo Chavez get poisoned? I would suggest, maybe Sean Friend might know something about it. But you take that into account. Also take into account that you have China in their space programs in Argentina, but they're littered throughout the South America, Australia, of course, as we shared with you in last night's episode, and Canada itself. Israel, before, as we established, before these superpower countries take over a country, they have to do a false flag. They have to have rules in place, speech laws and what have you, gun laws, before the takeover, because they don't want any revolt, and they do it in increments. Everything that happens and has been happening to all of us in the past 5 years has happened in increments, and when it doesn't, it wakes too many people up. You think about that. It increments and the slow molasses pace keeps us asleep and addicted to the slave toys. And that's what's happening. So now you have Maduro, who's not only allowed China and Russia to, huddle in, and for probably good reason too, because without a superpower behind you, and you're just a rogue, hostile nation with a classic 20th century styled kind of ruler leader, well, you're frowned upon by the new corporate communistic West, led by the algorithms and the hybrid humans out there. So this is the modern warfare and the psychological warfare at hand. And this go around, nobody is truly honestly buying it. And no matter how many times they pressure us, and what are they pressuring us with? Well, we tried to get to this last night. Well, you might have heard of the new, did you hear about the new czar, the anti-Semitic czar, who's really trying to comb through our society looking for people who might have a problem? The hall monitor with the federal government. Well, it's true. I can't make this up. Here is Mr. I think he goes by Mr. Cooties.
The president is sending a very strong message. Think about it. Ironically, I get off a plane. I am the president's representative, and I am walking off with a yarmulke, and I have kosher food, and embassies will have kosher food. It is a game changer. The appointment is a game changer. And it's not about history. It's about education. And how do we educate? Indonesia has 350 million Muslims living in the country. How do we change their textbooks? How do we hold the people in Gaza accountable that if America is paying for UN textbooks and supposedly the changes are made, why are those textbooks not being used and why are they using their old textbooks? We have to teach people it's not okay to educate your kids to be a martyr. Okay? And we have to hold those countries accountable. How do we battle anti-Semitism on the internet? How are we doing better on algorithms? What companies can we work with? We are going to have a whole division within the office of the Special Envoy to combat anti-Semitism that is going to work on technology and working with the greatest leaders in technology, many of whom are Jewish and have offered their assistance. The office is...
It's not how we battle homelessness. It's not how we battle addiction or how do we battle, ailments, deaths due to big pharma. No, it's not how to, it's never how to battle that. It's how to battle hurtful opinions, critical words of God's chosen people, which I'm not even sure God agreed to that. I think it was a fictitious Zionist passed by Schofield, as we've now established. And if you haven't seen the lounge episode from just days ago, it's an epic one at that. So there we have a czar for anti-Semitism. I mean, we're actually paying for this. We're paying for this asshole to police us. Can you believe it? And and so it doesn't end there. So these people are banding together. They're forcing everything. Everything is coming into par. And then you have the woman who was the mind, the think tank, behind the anti-Semitism awards. Which, by the way, she's a failed fashion designer who has an axe to grind with everybody, probably even men too, the most, who has been defaming people and using fictitious addresses for her business. So in the event people want to rebuttal and take a course of action legally against her for slander, defamation, well, you can't find the broad. But now she has what she believes is the momentum behind her, the wind in her back. And she's saying the following now, and I guess we should be scared or just, all for it, like many Christian Zionists are. Check this out.
Community did not choose, but one that we are now fully engaged in, confronting the global explosion of Jew hatred, unleashed since the attacks of 10/7. Stop Anti-Semitism was built for this. For years, we exposed hate, pressured institutions, and delivered consequences. But after 10/7, the scale of threat and the urgency of our mission changed dramatically overnight. Since that day, we have featured more than 1,000 anti-Semites on our platforms. 1,000. Not theorized about them, not quietly documented them, featured them publicly, clearly, and with evidence. The results speak for themselves. Approximately 400 of these Jew haters have faced real consequences, including firings, suspensions.
That's a lot of that. You hear that? She's just drooling from the mouth because she's a dog. You see this? So when you have little conduits over there on Rumble and BitChute who are butting up to people and getting you to incite some terminology that is now frowned upon by the new boss, the new bosses in power, and gets you in trouble and gets you in jail, like the son of Enos guy over there in Canada. You see all these new laws in place because this is the game. And just regular Jewish people around the world are being used as the cannon fodder for this. Just like the black people were used by the communist outfit of the BLM. Well, if you're not for the BLM and you're black, well, then you're just against your own people, right? Right? You see that? What a demonic little satanic dog she is, that woman. And speaking of dogs, I want to show you this other one here because this is a woman who really got in the good grace of a lot of patriotic people. Many people grew up with her, and now she's really taken her mask off and really shown who she truly is. And she really doesn't like the American country or the Americans and any of us who don't want to subsidize and support Israel. I'm talking about Roseanne Barr. Look at this.
I don't know that if America's turning on Israel, then America deserves what's going to happen to them for it.
It'll be worse for America than Israel.
It will, because Israel will just move on to India and other countries, and America will fall.
Not just that, the sleeper cells.
America will fall, and that's what they want. I mean, that is what they want, is that the constitutional republic of the United States for America will fall. But I think Trump sees that. America has to be independent of the British Empire too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's Israel's independence too, that we're all separated from that.
Yeah.
And that's the octopus. And we're all separated from that.
Isn't that right, Nanny? Nanny Wiles? Look at her. She's like an overgrown Mary Poppins there. She's bursting a blood vessel. Look at her. Or she's realizing, oh my God, he's wearing a mask. And oh my God, those are rubber hands. And I'm willing to, accept that as a possibility. And yeah. So there you have it. There's the Roseanne Barr, she's kind of threatening us in a way. When is she going to sing the national anthem again? I wonder. It's just incredible. We've never had to, many of us have never had to witness anything like this before. Maybe we've read about it in history books, but we certainly have never had to deal with it in real time before. And now the Australians are right there with us, and soon to be Canada. Canada is going to be next. And what is China going to do about it? Because I'll tell you this, Netanyahu is now saying what I literally shared as my first thesis to everybody in March of 2020, that we are in a multipolar world order where we are witnessing a proxy war between Israel and China. And I'm now being vindicated on many levels, sadly. But at least we have, at least the great thing about what we've done here in this outfit is we have brought women who were initially waking up to this pandemic and what's happening in the health and school, and brought women's focus to the geopolitical spectrum, which is very important, as well as the local as well, what they've been doing. Because the propaganda in this society that we're living in this 21st century is really targeted and programmed for women, to women, as projection has many ways of getting to you and poisoning your mind. True. Now, what about the Trump factor, as you saw there? What about this, the Trump factor? What does he know, and what truly is going on? Well, we've made a lot of different, I should say we've showcased and heard a lot of different avenues about what's truly, honestly happening. And it's too easy to say they're all in on it. But that's like saying my favorite basketball team is the NBA. I want to get in specifics because we know and we've understood that there's a continuity. There's a continuity of government that's been installed in place for quite some time. And we're seeing the devolution of institutions as we know it. The just respected organizations fall into their own footprint. However, I noticed a very bizarre kind of physical language when the pandemic happened and Trump was on stage with Dr. Blix, I believe, the Anthony Fauci character, and even Mike Pompeo himself. It was very reminiscent of Ronald Reagan during the Iran-Contra scandal, as in he didn't know what in the world was going on. He looked very confused. Trump did as well. But to me, the difference is, I think, versus Reagan, who I believe was given a Alzheimer's poison in his dietary supplements. Well, I think Trump, who, yes, has been poisoned, I think he's very insulated and really is, hearing the knocks of death at his door, probably hourly. But something is very off. And look at this next clip and you tell me, and I'm not even going to tell you anything. You figure it out. And we'll discuss after and we'll go through the live chats. Check this out.
It's not bad.
What's going on?
That's a great job.
He's very confused. Very confused. Very confused. Very confused.
Great job. Great job, fellas.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say bewitched, bothered, and bewildered. Those three words come to mind, and very eerily reminiscent of the Biden character, isn't it? So who's really running things? Who is running things? Who is running things? And is it Trump? Is it Trump, or is it that they have him in such a brain fog and they're using doubles? It makes you think. There's a last clip I want to share with you, but before I do that, let's get people's opinions on this, because I think the more we bring this to the consciousness and the conversation, I think the more understanding we have of who this what in the hell's going on here. Let's get to this one here. We have Misty 69 saying the wig on her does not look good. Are you talking about Susie Wiles? Are you talking about this woman here? Really? Is that a wig? Okay. Yeah, could be. Could be. Okay. Continuing here. We have also Misty saying that's not Trump. Yeah. We don't even know which Trump it is. It's the brown-eyed Trump. We're not sure. It's very, very strange, Nigel says. Yeah. But see, you can't talk about that, or you're not going to get invited to, the Trump Incorporated clubs, like some people, Oh, we can't go in that guy. They're dangerous. Okay, let's look at Rumble here. We have. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? We have. I'm not going to read that one there. That's pretty foul there. Okay. And yes, the fog is back. By the way, the fog is back. Well, we have Mouth of the South. I think Leo Leo says the dastardly things just to see how far he can go. That's wonderful. Thank you for that. It's a Canadian thing, I guess. I don't know. Good to see you, though. And the Canadians better beware of what's happening in Australia here, because it's coming next. And look at this. If you missed it yesterday. Oh, well, we heard that the Alu Akbar father and son duo, they were just targeting, the Jewish Australians. Yeah, interesting. Well, this is what we found, and it's since been scrubbed from the internet. The leaked Facebook profile of the Bondi Beach shooter, before it got deleted. His real name is David Cohen. He's Jewish from Israel. Yes, we know. The Mossad works in very mysterious ways. We do know that for sure. Okay. Also, I want to get your take on this now. This clip, well, it's unavailable now for some reason. It's unavailable. It was taken down. I should have, damn it, I should have taken it. It was given to me by Rebel Mama, who might have another link for me to take. It was very eerie. And if we can't get to it, we'll do it tomorrow night. But let me get a few more comments here. Oh, are you talking about Roseanne's wig? Okay. Okay, yes. That's who you're talking about. So, yeah, I mean, Roseanne is very, I don't even know what to describe that. Very ill-informed at that. Okay, we have many Rosen saying the following. I don't know, Dean, tomorrow he's supposed to address the nation or whatever at 9 o'clock. What the hell is he going to say? We are all screwed. Every time I hear the big speech tomorrow, you better be there and watching, a big announcement's going to be made. And the announcement is we're building a new, Honda or Toyota plant in Plano, Texas. It's so lackluster every time. And I kind of stopped watching a long time ago and kind of get the reviews on it. But yeah, I'll keep my eyes open for that. We have Liz Marchant, who is on the case of David Cohen. Detective Marchant, thank you. She says the following, that David Cohen has just come out of his coma in the hospital. Well, he'll be getting a visit from a Grim Reaper named Jack Ruby very soon, I'm sure. I'm very sure. Yes, Roseanne's wig. Oh, my God. Oh, wow. Okay, that's now going to leave us to a final, well, final thoughts. Sponsored by Give, Send, Go. RealDeanRyan. Final thoughts. Wow, look at that look. That's my final thought. Final thoughts here for the episode of DC in Panic again. Yes, again and again and again. Sometimes I wonder, the more things change, is it really just the more things just stay the same? I think the Who said it the best, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. But I wonder, the more things change, the more things stay the same. It's kind of a reference to the people of, when people are comfortable, stressing and accessing more effort to a problem that you don't feel you have the power to do, which is, in some cases is taking care of your own health, taking the trash out, or, having someone do it for you, or monitoring what's happening in the education system for your children. That's too much. But I think we're at a point now that many of us, especially the ones here tonight, we know there's something wrong. We've known there's something wrong since, this whole thing started. And there's a whole segment of there's something wrong that a lot of people don't have the courage to, especially this independent media of today. I would say the third generation. I come from that first generation of it, behind the scenes, and I've seen it all. But you have a newer generation of independent media people that are very concerned about remaining on the good side of the algorithms, to have good placing, to have good monetization, and to be invited into that virtual club in its own right. But when I was learning the ethics of journalism and broadcasting and all that in college, and just what I knew in my heart is, if we don't emphasize and take emphasis in telling the truth and articulating what's happening, no matter the shame by the peers in your industry or even your own personal lives with friends, then we are doomed for a destiny of just failure, gulags at the worst, ultimately death of the country and things we grew up to love. So we have a duty to talk about what's a obvious fraud right in front of us, and not act like it's a conspiracy thing and I'm just shooting, going on a whim. No, I act like this is what you need to know. And I'm deadly serious about it. Deadly. There's no conspiracy theory. There's only one thing, and it's conspiracy reality. And that's my final thought. Okay, tomorrow night is, I believe, Wednesday. And Wednesday night, I really wanted to find that clip, but it's been taken down. I want to do more things like that, where we can have a kind of a peer review on some of these things, because it's the madness that is really It's earning a collective response, and I think that's what we can offer here. So I will be back tomorrow night, and don't forget, we have the new winter collection already in our store, and it's going to go for a while. But you can now get that with the 25% off promo code Christmas25, and a lot of great things in there. A lot of new designs I literally spent way too long doing. I just couldn't help myself. And thankfully, I have a helper. Thank you very much on that. But I think you'll appreciate them. And also, don't forget, yes, we'll go to realdealmedia.tv for that. But don't forget that Saturday is the Incredible Christmas Special by Melvis. You're going to love that. Surprises for the family and all. Okay. For Jim Fetzer and for everyone here at the #1 Shadow Band show on Real Deal Media, I'm Dean Ryan, and thank you for sharing a bit of your night. Until next time, always remember to stay tuned and stay awake, because you're never alone for too long, no matter how lonely you feel. Good night, everybody. The mountains are waiting for the full moon to come. I got lost on highways. Don't ask me where I've been or what I've done. Send me transmissions. Forgive me when I come. Sun is come to save me. Put me love into my lonely soul. Lonely soul. Sun has come to save me. Put a little love into my lonely soul. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Feel so right, feel so good. Nothing in my life alone. I need my love, you know. You know I need my love, yeah. Sun has come to save me. Put a little love into my love.